Hi guys, this is Sharmin Sultana and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about a very important topic, but today I'm going to share about this topic in depth because I feel like only if you understand these pointers you will be able to realize that it's not as hard of a problem as you think it is, which is your mind completely going blank whenever you are in a room full of people and you're trying to speak in English. And this is especially for people who are using English as their second language in life. So yeah, let's get into it. You can watch a movie without any subtitles. You can go through a report with a lot of complicated English words and you won't even blink an eye. You can go through a work email and totally completely understand every word of it. But the moment you're in a meeting and all the other eyes lands on you, your English just disappears. You're not feeling blank, your English is just not there anymore. And at that point, a very cruel thought comes into your mind that what if I'm not as good as I think I am in this language? Now, I want to make something very clear to you. In most of the cases, this is not a knowledge problem. Your mind completely going blank or your brain completely freezing. It has nothing to do with your knowledge about that language or how much vocabulary you know about that language or in that language. This is a psychological freeze, a biological thing, you completely freezing in that moment. In real time, it has almost nothing to do with how much English you know. Today we are going to be talking about this in part by part, so you're going to be understanding why this happens and how you need to have two kind of skills, which is comprehension and then speaking. Although you are able to comprehend in this language very well, you're not being able to speak, and this two seems like two different skills that you're not being able to acquire. And also we are going to be talking about in-depth psychological, biological reason why you are feeling this freeze. Okay, so let's get into the biological part. So in your brain you have an organ called amygdala. So what it does is that it lets yourself know about any kind of upcoming threat. So it doesn't really understand psychological threat and physical threat. So it cannot identify two different kind of threats. So this amygdala, when you are in a position where you have slightly something uncomfortable going on, it will immediately make your brain think, am I safe? So your blood pressure changes, your heart starts racing, and all of the biological reactions start happening in your body because now your brain is thinking, okay, am I safe or not? So when you are in a meeting and all of the eyes land on you, you are feeling the same way. So first your brain, that amygdala, is asking that, okay, am I safe? And then starts the biological reaction. Your heartbeat starts becoming faster and you start thinking that, okay, like what is going on? You start comprehending everything around you, and that at that time your brain is not going to be able to actually think about anything grammar. Your brain is not going to be able to find new words or anything, or even comprehending anything, translating anything. It will just think about how to be safe again and how to calm down your nervous system. So your whole biological being is into work in making you safe. So at that point you can't really expect it to form words for you or work this and as well as that. So that is why when you are in a meeting and you are at a lot of you are at a loss of word and you don't know what to say, you don't know, you're just completely going blank. But when you come to the hallway or you are ending your meeting and you come out, immediately you just remember everything. You just know what you would have said, or you just know that, okay, I should have said that, or this is how I should have put it, or this is how it should have gone. But at that point you couldn't have done that because at that point your brain was just comprehending whether you're safe or not, and it was trying to understand whether the situation is safe and how to make you safe again. So that is the main reason of going blank or completely not understanding or finding words to speak. It's not about your knowledge about the words, it's really your biological being, your body just, you know, responding to certain threat. If you want to know in depth of what's happening and how your amygdala, how your prefrontal cortex and all of that work, I'm going to attach a small document on how your body reacts when it senses threat, or actually what happens when you're in a room full of people. I'm going to explain that in a small little paragraph, and it will be linked in my description box, because I feel like that is a whole another topic, and if I start talking about it, I don't know if I'm even eligible to talk about such a vast topic, because it is so in depth and there is like so many things that you have to understand. I feel like that is something that you should sit down and read and go through it. So yeah, feel free to check that. Here is the thing people miss most of the time. Comprehension and speaking is not the same thing. It's completely different from each other. They are fundamentally two different cognitive processes. Here I'm going to explain you how. When you watch a film, or you are listening to a podcast, or you're listening to a music, or maybe you are just listening people talk, that is very easy for you to comprehend. It's a passive way of the language coming to you. What happens here is that when all of these things are happening, you're in a more relaxed setting. So you're sitting down, you're calmly listening to some music, or you're just listening people talk, or you're just reading a book, whatever it is, you're in a very calm position. Like, you're not thinking about anything, you're very relaxed, there is no pressure on you, there is no eyes on you, and there is this freedom that you can just look back to it again. If someone is speaking, you can just ask that, oh, what did you say, come again? Or if you're reading something, you can read it again. If you're listening to something, you can listen to it again. So there is this feeling of safety, that whatever is going on, like, I can go back to it again, even if I don't understand it, or even if I miss something, I can go back to it. So you are like, psychologically, you're just very relaxed, you're feeling you don't have any threat going on, your body is relaxed, your mind is relaxed, and you're very safe that even if I miss something, I can always go back to it. That is why passive fluency is so comforting, and genuinely it's just very less demanding. Speaking, on the other hand, is a very complicated process if you think about it. You are not decoding anymore, you are constructing from scratch, live, in front of people. There is no point where you can make a mistake, because or else you have to answer the other person, or you have to redo your mistake again, like you have to do the right thing again. In the span of half second of you opening your mouth, you have to come up with words. Like, you have to immediately come up with words. You're immediately thinking of what to say next. You're also saying some things at the same time, and you're also building a whole another sentence in your brain while you are speaking another sentence. In the same time, you have to also register what kind of settings you are in. You have to register what kind of a person you are talking with, what kind of words you should be choosing, whether it should be respectful or it can be casual. So do you understand how many things is going in your brain at the same time? And all of this is also happening under the pressure that you may or may not be being judged. There is also this fear in your head, and especially if this is your second language. No matter how much of a relaxed and calm situation you are in, no matter how safe you feel with the other person that you are with. The researchers have also seen that, when they were researching about people who are talking in second language or bilingual people, he has seen that many of your brain regions start working extra when you are trying to speak in their second language, or the language that you speak, other language, because you are also trying to comprehend. There is so much of comprehension going on. So when you compare both of them side to side, you have to understand the thing that understanding is done in a very comfortable space, in a very safe space, and there is a sense of safety in the back of your head. But when you are speaking, it is done in the moment, live, in front of the people. And if you're making a mistake, you have to face the consequences right at that spot. It's not that your speaking skills is way worse than your understanding skills. It's just that you are comparing two different, very different skills with each other, because speaking is a very high load and high pressure skill, like something which comes with a lot of pressure, and understanding is something which is a very low effort, passive, low pressure skill. So there is no point in you comparing both of them. They are not at the same level, and they are not the same category of task as well. When you understand the mechanism, at that point two very famous advices start making sense, that why it doesn't work. So two very famous advices are: learn more vocabulary and just relax. So it's very easy to say just relax, like you cannot expect that from a person when your whole body is shutting down and your heartbeat is racing fast and your brain is constantly thinking whether I'm safe. You cannot tell your body just to shut down everything and just relax. That's not how it works. The advice is not wrong that calmness is going to help you, or being calm in that situation is going to help you, but it is wrong if you're expecting the other person to just lower their cortisol just with their willpower or something and then calm down themselves. Like, that's just not possible. The second is study more vocabulary. Now, I have always said that you have to study a lot of vocabulary for you to be able to express a lot of thoughts, right? And that's completely okay. That is the right thing to do, or else, like, how are you gonna speak your mind? But in this situation, knowing more vocabulary has nothing to do with you being able to speak. Like, think about it. Your whole body is in a situation where it is thinking, oh, am I safe or not? And in this situation, if you even have a lot of knowledge about words, whatever to say, whatever, nothing is gonna work, because any of that is not gonna come in your mind. Your body is just trying to make you safe. Your body is having all this chemical reaction going on to understand whether you are safe and to calm yourself down or get out of the situation. So in that situation, when your body is doing all of that, it's also not going to find out vocabulary for you. Like, it's just very impossible to even think that your body is going to think about English vocabulary when it thinks that it's under threat or something. Like, that just doesn't work. Like, even if you think about it, you will understand what I'm talking about, that it's not about your vocabulary. You know a lot of vocabulary. That's why when the meeting ends and you're going out and you're in the hallway or you're just walking towards your office or something, all of that words, whatever you wanted to say, comes rushing. Why? Because at that point you are already feeling safe, you're relaxed, you're safe, there is no threat, your brain is not sensing anything, so it just comes to you. So in this situation, to tackle this problem, knowing vocabulary or not knowing vocabulary doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really matter. Now, how do we actually tackle this problem? So I'm going to tell you what actually works here, okay, and what is gonna make you be good at speaking in English no matter what kind of settings you are in. The answer lies in a different part of your brain entirely, and that is called procedural memory. Procedural memory is the same part of your brain that is gonna make you, drive a car without you even paying complete attention to the road, or type without even looking at the keyboard. Procedural memory handles skills that you don't have to put any effort for. That means you have done it so many times throughout your lifetime that you don't have to put your 100% attention to it. So some of the examples if I give you is you driving a car while you are talking with someone simultaneously. So, or you driving a car while you're using your phone or something to check a quick message or just make a call. You shouldn't be doing that, but still, like, I'm just giving you an example. Or you not looking at the keyboard and typing. So all of this you have done for so many times, for so long in your life, that you don't need to have a complete, attention to it. So it comes to you very automatically. That's what you see in native speakers. That is why native speakers don't use phrases like, oh, let me think about it, or let me get back to you, or they don't use these kind of words because they don't need the time to think while they're speaking. Why? Because they have done it so much in their life, they have spoken that language so much throughout their life that don't need that time to translate it in their head or even understand or comprehend nothing. So that is procedural memory working for them. Now that's the real part. It's not the vocabulary, it's not just you relax yourself. None of that is going to work for you for this kind of situation. What is going to work is the procedural memory. So you have to go through it again and again in different kind of situation, in high stress situation, in low stress situation, with different kind of people, in different kind of setting. You do it so many times, you practice it so many times that it comes to you very automatically. It comes to you as a procedural memory, just like it is for the native speaker, or just like you are using your own native language. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about automatic stress resistant speech pattern, the kind that holds up even when the cortisol hits. Subscribe and I'll see you there. Bye bye.